Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Today, we're taking a look at what happened on the episode of December 30th, 2022, the last Smackdown episode of the year. Here we go. So, the show starts with Bray Wyatt's music uh, and Bray Wyatt coming to the ring. Says he's sorry for attacking the cameraman last week. He's interrupted by LA Knight and says that Bray paid somebody to play the part of Uncle Howdy, but he still thinks that Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy is one and the same person. Now, he says he's gonna make him pay, and he challenged Bray Wyatt to a match at the Royal Rumble. Bray says, "You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing, but I accept." So, and then Uncle Howdy appears. Uncle Howdy's music starts. He comes to the ring, looks at LA Knight, looks at Bray, goes and decides to stand by Bray Wyatt. And then, not so surprisingly, he gives Bray Wyatt the Sister Abigail. Now, why am I saying not so surprisingly? If you remember, since the beginning of that storyline, Uncle Howdy wants to get Bray Wyatt to revert to his old self. He wants to make Bray Wyatt do bad things. Revel in what you are. That's what Uncle Howdy is telling Bray all the time. Revel in what you are. Revel in what you are. And for Uncle Howdy, what Bray Wyatt is a man who does bad things. So that is why Uncle Howdy gave the Sister Abigail to Bray Wyatt and not to LA Knight Friday. So this just keeps the story going along and just builds all the mystique around it. So very good. So let's go to match number one. So match number one, Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa. Of course, Sheamus is accompanied by the Brawling Brute. Solo Sikoa is accompanied by his brothers, the Usos. Now, Solo wants to continue his winning ways, wants to continue to dominate, and Sheamus wants to derail Solo's winning streak and go back on a winning streak of his own, and position himself for another shot at Gunther's Intercontinental title. Now, Solo wins the match with the Samoan Spike. So that's just further establishes him as a big guy, the enforcer, and the bloodline doesn't seem to lose matches all that much, but they're starting to lose a little bit against KO in tag team matches. So we'll see how it goes there. Now, after the match, all three Usos and Solo attack Sheamus. Want to, with the chair, wants to do the same thing they did to Riddle a couple of weeks ago. And Drew McIntyre comes to the rescue. So, well, that's set up McIntyre and Sheamus against the Usos. Maybe. Maybe for the Royal Rumble. We'll see. And that's probably what's going to be set up for the Royal Rumble. Usos versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. So anyway, on to match number two. So match number two, Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. Now, Ronda plays the heel with attitude, with confidence, with, well, overconfident uh, to perfection. Does a lot of trash talk in the ring, so that shows that her heel role is going in. All a match long is she's working on Raquel's broken elbow, and which is very good for the psychology of the match, telling the story that Raquel is fighting through the injury and everything. So that's just to set her up to sell her as a tough woman. Now, the match is also a test for Raquel to see if she is championship material, which I think she is. Ronda wins by submission, and after the match, Ronda goes to say something on the mic, and then you hear something. You hear Ric Flair's music starting. Well, the beginning of Ric Flair was Ric Flair's theme. So right then and there, I knew it was Charlotte. So new theme song for Charlotte, based at least the beginning on her dad's old theme. So Charlotte Flair returns, challenges Ronda to a match, to a championship match, right now. And Shayna tries to talk her out of it, but Ronda gets her ego get the better of her and accepts Charlotte's challenge. So match takes place, short match, which is perfect in that circumstance because you want to have the shock value. So Charlotte reverses the armbar into a pinning combination to win the title. So what does that do for Charlotte and Ronda? Well, Charlotte retakes the title she lost to Ronda back in May at Backlash. And Ronda, is she losing any momentum, any credibility in that loss? None at all. Why? Because she had just had a grueling match against Raquel Rodriguez. And what is that going to do is Ronda can say, well, you beat me because I already had a match, and that's the only reason you beat me. I can beat you any day of the week. So look for a rematch between Ronda and Charlotte, probably at the Rumble, but look for this in the near future. Then we saw a backstage segment with the Bloodline, and earlier earlier on the evening, we saw Paul Heyman talking to Sammy outside of Roman's locker room and saying that Roman did not appreciate the fact that Sammy's name was chanted by the crowd and not Roman's. So that's just another seed there that Sammy is not getting appreciated by the tribal chief less and less because Sammy is getting more and more popular. And we all know where that is leading. Because, like I said a couple of weeks ago, there's a big event coming to Montreal, and there's a big chance that something big is going to happen in Montreal. Now, is Sammy's face turn going to happen before Montreal? And we see maybe Kevin and Sammy against the Usos at Elimination Chamber? Or Sammy's turn, face turn, takes place right here in Montreal. We'll see what's going to happen. It wouldn't be above WWE to drag this out until Elimination Chamber. So Sammy asked Roman, Does that bother you? And then you see Roman hesitating, and then he just smiles and says, "Hell no, it doesn't bother me." So, but just the hesitation tells us that storyline wise, it does bother him. And then we had an in ring segment with Imperium. Uh, and Imperium were talking about Gunther's Intercontinental title reign and reviewing all the opponents that he beat during this time, which are Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus, and Ricochet. Now, Gunther has held the title for 6 months and had 4 major title defense. That's not a lot for the Intercontinental title. That used to be the workhorse championship, the one that was defended day in, day out, almost every week. And like, or like the U.S. title with the U.S. title Open Challenge. Uh, but anyway, their segment is interrupted by Braun Strowman, who asks to have a title shot. Strowman gets attacked by Imperium for his troubles, and Ricochet comes to the rescue. And Ricochet probably accidentally hits Gunther over the head with a chair. But so that sets up a match for next week: Gunther versus Braun Strowman. Now, is Braun going to win the title there? Possible. But does Braun Strowman really needs a title? I don't think so. So look for outside interference during the match to help Gunther. Oh, sorry about that. To help Gunther keep the title. So let's go to the last match of the night. So main event of the evening, yes, Smackdown, December 30th, only had 3 matches. But they were long matches, especially the women's title and the Solo and Sheamus were pretty long matches. So Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and John Cena. Now, this match was mainly made to get Cena to give Cena a match for a 20th year in a row on SmackDown. Mainly. So what do each wrestler want in there? Well, Roman wants to put Kevin behind him. Cena is not relevant in storylines right now, going for the titles and things like that. Well, not relevant. John Cena, when he's there, is always relevant in the title picture anyway. So, but not this time. Sammy, it's gonna continue building Kevin and Sammy's storyline, and for let's say a first time in a while, Sammy and Kevin did fight in this match. They did touch each other. KO even taking the win on Sammy after giving him a stunner. So Kevin continues to beat the Bloodline members one by one. Remember a couple of, I think it was last week on Raw, he did beat Jimmy Uso in a tag team match. So he beat the Usos. Now he beats Roman and Sammy. Roman didn't take the pin, so that doesn't touch him at all on that. But KO can still say that he got a win over Roman and Sammy, just to further up the storyline between all of them. Now, Sammy's face turn is coming. Like I said earlier, is it gonna happen from here to Elimination Chamber, or it's going to happen at Elimination Chamber. My first thought was, since Elimination Chamber takes place in Montreal, that they would make the face turn early and have Sammy and Kevin team up in Montreal and maybe win the tag team titles against the Usos. That was my first thought. Spoke to a friend today, and he did tell me, he made me think about that, and maybe they're going to keep the face turn to happen in Montreal. Reunite, both Sammy and Kevin reunite on that occasion, and then go on to challenge the Usos at WrestleMania. So we'll see how it goes. So that's it for that episode of Smackdown. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you have a very good 2023. And I hope that you keep following me on this Wrestling Analyst channel. Have a nice day.